has the first down. Barrett breaks a tackle into the edge, picks up a block. He's going to get in. A wide open and take him down.
It's time.
My name is Brianna Irby. I am number 97, the offensive line left tackle, and I've been playing with Cali War for about 7 years. To me personally, being a part of this team, it's so much love. It means love. I love all my teammates equally, individually, collectively, and I just want to see people win, and knowing that I can help them win makes me show up and be ready to go. Last season, I feel like I was confident, but I could be more confident. I could be more in tune with what my team needs, and also be more vocal on the field, off the field, on the sideline, encouraging people and letting them know, what I see out there and helping them be better. I wouldn't say we're the underdogs. I would say we're a contender, and sometimes we, go forward to try to accomplish something, and we don't necessarily have everything we need, and so we've been building to gather everything we need, and I feel like this season we have just a little bit more of what we need to get to where we're trying to go. Oh, it would be keep showing up, keep showing us love, we'll keep showing you love, we'll keep showing you, giving you guys a show, because yes, it's a football game, but Cali War gives a show.
What up? My name is Nori. We're running back to Cali War. Right now we're doing a photo shoot. Follow me. Right now we got Loya. Doing our little photo shoot. But let me introduce you to some of the team. Let's go. This is Nori. Nori. Here, Loya. We got Lawyer right here, aka Poppy Lawyer. See why? We got Bree right here, Big Irby, not the little one. Over here, we got Red, aka Rookie of the Year. Rookie of the Year. Big Red.
Never the little one, never the little one.
Big 9 too. You know me? Good lineman, great lineman. We got two more over here. There's GG. Another rookie. Hopefully the next rookie of the year. And that's us.
To the pro ranks right away, gets looking deep over the middle, and the passing intercepted. Barrett with the interception and has some running room out past the 35, 45, out to midfield. Barrett looking for a block at the 35. Finally brought down.
My name is Antoinette Borders. I am the defensive tackle for Cali War, and I've been playing with Cali War for 5.5 seasons now. Football is not just a physical game, it's a lot of mental preparation, and I was challenged a lot off the field, so being able to step on the field and be able to play, so I was challenged mentally. Cause I sacrificed a lot to be a part of the team, and I know a lot of the players sacrificed a lot to be a part of the team, so it means the world. It's something that, in a sense, saved my life. The people on the team have saved my life, and the team has saved my life. Something that people don't know is that Cali War has a lot of things going on behind the scenes, in the background, that I don't feel people give us credit for. They don't know what we had to overcome to get to this point. They don't know the battles that we've had, and I know all teams have different things that they have to overcome, but people don't know our story, and they kind of write their own, but we have certain expectations that we set for ourselves and that we're ready to meet them. For this upcoming season, I'm just ready to show everybody what we've been working on behind the scenes. There's a lot of key components that we are putting together, so I'm really excited to see how that looks for us.
And the veteran linebacker, Smitty Jones, back for her 12th season. And Gordon does a good job to hold on to that football.
My name is Amir Parker. I play for Houston Energy, number 0, and I play wide receiver.
Hi, my name is Dorothy. I've been playing Cali War for 5.5 years, and I play defense line and offense line anywhere coach puts me. It's the vibe, it's the energy. Everyone's been saying it's ring season, but like you come onto the field, like you come out to practice, like people are showing up, people are showing out, like their actions are matching up with their words this year. To play football, like I've been itching to play football. Watching it on TV, learning how to, the basics, like bettering myself for my teammates. I'm excited to show off a little bit.
And when you think about last season, what moment stands out to you the most?
Losing.
Why?
Losing. I'm sick and tired of losing, going all the way till the end and losing it. Like this is going to be different this year. I love you guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting us. Let's give a good show. I'll give you a good show.
You're done.
Alyssa is great. She is smart. She is kind. What else is she?
Pushing.
Say, Alyssa is smart, kind, pretty, and important. Say, she is the present, and I am the future.
Alyssa, nobody ever talks about this part of the game.
Nobody ever talks about having the confidence within yourself, because one thing I've really noticed is, sure, we all have idols and we all have fans and people we look up to, but what are you doing to do the work? Like, I know that I look at Deion Sanders to be, the position I want to play is him, but I have to do the work. I have to put in the foot, to eat right, work out, but a lot of people just think I want to be like them and that's what I'm going to do. But they really don't realize that there's so much more to be how they were. They're an idol for a reason, so you have to do what you got to do to be what they are. So,
Bam, put in the work.
To the pro ranks, right away, gets looking deep over the middle, the passing, intercepted. Barrett with the interception and has some running room out past the 35, 45, out to midfield. Barrett looking for a block at the 35. Finally brought down.
My name is Nori. I play running back and linebacker. I've been playing with Cali War for, this will be my sixth season. I think the biggest challenge we faced last season was having to stick together throughout all of the obstacles that we faced. It was a lot that we had to deal with and persevere, but we got through it.
What's one thing you've been locked in during the off season to level up your game?
I've been focused on learning a new position and the new defense that we have. I've been focused on, as well as building my confidence.
What are you most excited about for this upcoming season?
I would say to switch positions and learn this new linebacker position.
And the veteran linebacker, Smitty Jones, back for her 12th season. And Gordon does a good job to hold on to that football.
The first down. Barrett breaks a tackle at the 20. It's picked up a block. She's going to get in a wide open mark and take him down.
It's time.
This group right here, all around, is football. We're all football players. Y'all are football players, okay?
down. Good. Maciel's going to go straight ahead. Got a receiver caught. Touchdown. They're back behind. What a catch. Houdini act. Sideline. She breaks another tackle. They've got one ready to beat.
Yo, Jay, what you say?
You know the moments, the feeling in your feet, the rhythm of ambition, that extra, that aha, that sight.
That's something.
The click, the shift, the boom, and you're there. The mess becomes a map, and you call it art, or science, or code, because now you know the way forward. For all the moments that drive you, there's edX. Fuel your ambition with thousands of job-relevant courses and programs at edX.org.
And as we can see, the future of technology is with us. You might be thinking, Doc, this is truly amazing. And we got.
Hey, is the projector ready? Come on, time for a team meeting.
I'm Alyssa Williams. I am a wide receiver in DB, and I play for Cali War. I played on a previous team before this, and we always played Cali War during season, and there was just a certain vibe and mentality that they had, and it was drawn to me, so I had to just play with them.
Can you talk to me about just what it means to be in the WFA?
It means something because it's like we're obviously breaking barriers with just being women playing tackle football in general. So it's like I'm a part of paving the way to being something great. So.
And can you talk to me about how Cali War also sets that example of being able to break the narrative and being a group of diverse women from all different walks, different backgrounds, playing this game that we all love?
It's great because it's literally like we're all here for one thing, but we're all in different shapes, sizes, different backgrounds. But at the end of the day, we're all want to ring. We all want to win. We're all there having each other's back. It's a family, just not the same household.
What's the most rewarding part about proving the stereotypes wrong, proving the doubters wrong?
The most rewarding part is the bruises and the scrapes. They get to talk all they want from the sideline. It means nothing to me. Their opinions mean nothing to me because I have my opinion about myself, and I think I'm great playing tackle football. So with them just saying, well, girls don't play football. Cool. You're on the sideline. I don't care. So it doesn't matter to me.
And for any other mom out there, I mean, you know, what would be your message to, like, you're out here doing it, but you're also Superwoman. So what's your message to the average woman out there who just doesn't think that, you know, maybe this is something that she never believed that she could do? She's got kids too. What's the message to all moms out there?
It's okay to follow your dreams. It's always like, you're going to always have setbacks and hurdles, but if you think all the negatives and not focus on the positive, that's how you're gonna live your life. So if you just take that leap of faith and, okay, I'm gonna do it. Not only will you thank yourself, your kids will thank you.
So what is a moment in life where you felt immense pressure, and in that moment, you felt yourself transforming into who you are today?
For sure, having my son. It was COVID. I was a college athlete playing soccer. I got the news that I was pregnant, and so it kind of just made me believe that, like, of course people are gonna judge me being a young parent, let alone being a single parent. So I had to set the boundaries for myself, like, I can do this with or without people in my life. It takes a village to do it, but one single person can do it by themselves. So with playing football, I can take my son if I need be. I don't have family, then I'm just by myself. But the main thing that I learned from it is believing in myself that I can do it.
They from Houston?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Condos probably last minute or something.
I don't think last minute. They got the schedule and everybody else got the schedule.
It's the last game of the regular season.
No, we got one for me. All right, get ready, you guys. You found it. Yeah, they down there.
Okay. Yeah, that's my list.
Yeah, they got me down marker right too. All right.
I love it out there.
It's cool. I mean, I've been up there 5 years. I don't know what that's out here or in there? It's out here. Okay.
How you doing? Bro, where you been?
I was in Denver last week.
Repping?
Yeah, I was doing a football camp. Well, we all do college.
Let's go, on the line, let's go. Shoulder to shoulder. Go ahead, this way.
How we lining up? I'm kind of good at other sports.
We're going to be side by side.
Who's captain on the outside or what?
Let me see. No, whoever's here is going to be down shoulder, shoulder. So she gonna come over here with two.
Slide down. Like this. Yeah, ladies. Hold up. Hold it. Big enough for you? Yes. Okay, perfect. Here we go.
Walk it up as a team, let's go. Oh my God. Stop right here.
In the house. Are you? All right, stop right here. Introduce yourself. Okay, welcome. It's a hot day. Let's white talk to white, black talk to black. We don't have time to be talking to each other. Let's just good sportsmanship, have fun, okay? Glad you guys had a safe flight out here, and I pray you have a safe flight back, okay?
Thank you.
Houston is the visitor, so they get to call the toss. All right? SWAC helmet is heads.
Got it right this time, huh?
All right.
He ain't finished yet.
I'm not finished. Let me finish this, okay? The referee and green side is tails. Okay? What would you like to call, Christina?
Tails.
What did she say?
Tails.
And it's tails. What would you like to do? So they're deferring, and you want the ball. Which way you want to kick?
That way.
Turn your backs this way. You turn your backs this way. Right here. Good. We'll receive. All right. Good luck. All right. Did I get it right?
Yeah.
Washington. Vinny, you got him?
It's a new game.
Vinny, get him up. Yeah, you got your two claps. I like it. 2 hands, 2 claps. You did it.
2 hands, 2 claps.
You
Knock
did
a bitch
2 hands, 2 claps. Not. You didn't hit us with it?
No.
All right, hey, bring it in. Same thing. Hey, forget the opponent. Okay, Happy made a great point. When we first started, don't play with your food. Okay, not only do we have to win, but we have to win in a favorable fashion. Got it? So it's not a 36-0 win, a 45-0, 50. Not enough. Okay, got to put a lot of points on, and we can't allow them to score.
It's another hugely important WFA matchup in a crowded playoff picture as the Cali War gets set to host the Houston Energy. A loss to Salt Lake City a week ago has placed the War in a suddenly dangerous spot in their pursuit of another run to the playoffs. At 3-1 on the season, the War are on the inside track for a playoff spot. But with a road game at Salt Lake City looming next week, tonight's matchup with the Houston Energy arguably becomes a must-win if the War hope to ensure a return to the playoffs once again. The game is no less important for the Energy, who are 2-2 after a win last week at home against the Dallas Elite Mustangs. A win here tonight will vault the Energy back into the playoff picture, heading into the regular season's final week next week. I'm Jeff Stoyanov. Thanks so much for joining us for Cali War football here on Swerve Sports and Fan Club. The Energy won the opening toss, elected to defer. So we'll see the War on offense first after a struggle last week in a 24-12 loss to Salt Lake City. The War didn't get on the board till well into the fourth quarter in that one, as they had all kinds of trouble moving the football against that Wildcat defense. They'll look to bounce back here tonight against an Energy team that has struggled at times to stop opposing offenses, particularly at the top of the pro division in the WFA. Took a tough loss against the Minnesota Vixen early in the season, and this another step up for the Energy. They did get the win last week to even up their record, but this is a tough assignment against a War team that is battle-tested and a team that has been part of the playoff picture for the last several years here in the Women's Football Alliance. So teed up and ready to go. It is Christina Jacobs, who appears to be the one who will kick it away. Jacobs having an outstanding rookie season in the WFA. That comes into action tonight. Second in the division in passing yards, taking over for Carol Marish. Played the last couple of years at the helm for the Energy. So this will be a different look for the War as they'll get their first go against Christina Jacobs and an Energy offense that has a couple of outstanding playmakers on the outside in Amira Rocket Parker and Brooke Wilson. Rocket Parker, for her part, second in the WFA in receiving yards, but Brooke Wilson, every bit as big a weapon alongside Carmel Glumac. So, short kick, hard to say if it was a miscue or an attempt at an onside, but the War will come away with a very short field. And they'll take over very near midfield. So the defenses really had the better of it a week ago in the matchup with Salt Lake City in a 24-12 game. I expect to see more scoring here tonight from both of these teams, but certainly the War should have a somewhat easier assignment in front of them and start out with Tanya Ureli-Guzman in the pistol formation with Nori Washington in the deep eye. Washington had all kinds of trouble finding running room against the Wildcats, but it's a quick pitch on the outside to Jai Whiting-Davis. And Davis, who didn't have a carry a week ago, gets the first carry here tonight and 5 yards to leave a 2nd and 5. Whiting-Davis, just 56 yards rushing on the season. It's been a group of backs for the War, led by Brianna Barrett, but also Sean Caldwell in spot duty, and of course Nori Washington. But it was Barrett who had the huge performance last year in the win at Houston. Guzman with time over the middle, completes the pass. Big play right away and a touchdown for the War. 45 yards, finding Megan Vale, who had a big performance against Salt Lake City last week and carries it right into action here tonight on the skinny post. Able to get the inside track, and they're not going to catch her. And that starts with great protection up front and a strike from Guzman, who was held out of the end zone last week in the loss to Salt Lake City, but strikes in the opening minute, finding Vale, a rapidly emerging favorite target for Guzman. Had 90 yards receiving last week, and already with 45 and a touchdown here tonight. Well executed from the War, who won this matchup last year 52-6 in Houston. So certainly had the better of it a year ago, and they have started out white hot here tonight on a warm late afternoon in Duarte, California. We're at Duarte High School. And they line up to go for the extra point, which for War fans is something very new. And that one is through. Do see as it's Nunez who handles the extra point. And hard to see. There was a War player who came away. See if we can get a number. Holding a left arm, and we'll see about that. That appeared to be Kiara Allen. But Nunez handles the extra point, and getting back to the point we were making before, of course, the War for the last few years, if not longer, have steadily lined up to go for two after a touchdown in any situation. But instead, they attempt the extra point with Nunez, who puts it through. So a 7-0 lead, very early going. It's the Women's Football Alliance on Fan Club and Unbeaten Sports. And for Miguel Renteria, who watched his team struggle certainly for 3+ quarters last week, that has to be a welcome sight as the War go 2 plays, 50 yards, with Guzman finding Vale on a 45-yard touchdown pass to grab the early lead. And we'll get our first look at the Energy offense. Squib kick takes a bounce and a roll. Trouble on the return, and now the Energy is going to have to settle for a short return as that one got away from LaJacia Dotson. And not much chance for Parker, who just had to fall on it. Nonetheless, the Energy come away at their own 26, so plenty of room to start. And again, you keep your eye on the trio of Parker, Glumac, and Brooke Wilson for Christina Jacobs, who comes in completing about 67% on the season for 755 yards and 7 touchdowns. Sweeping to the near side, Wilson finds a lane out past the 35 to the 36. First carry for Brooke Wilson out of Katy, Texas. Comes in averaging 7.6 yards a carry. And looking a little bit like Sam Gordon, who we saw last week, go for 170 yards for Salt Lake City. Against this War defense, 11 yards and an immediate first down. Bunch formation on a 1st and 10. Jacobs will work from under center. And they'll keep it on the ground. A gain of about 3, maybe 4. It'll come down to the spot. Suzette Garrett, the fullback, with the carry. And we have a player down. Garrett still down. So they'll stop the clock. It'll be a 2nd and 7 when we return. You're watching the Women's Football Alliance on Fan Club. And Suzette Garrett still being looked at down on the field. Take you back to the play. And Garrett running off tackle and brought down by a trio of war tacklers led by Nunez. And still looking at the lower leg. And indeed, you can see there Garrett being helped off the field. And so the Energy certainly will appear to have lost to Suzette Garrett for the foreseeable future in this one. And we'll likely see Brooke Wilson along with Rocket Parker. Garrett did pick up 4 yards with the spot to take it to the 41, where it will be 2nd and 6, and we are hoping to have our scoreboard working. We're trying to sort through a technical issue back to the touchdown reception from Vale. As Vale, again, working over the middle on a perfect pass from Guzman. And Vale, a little move on Jacobs, finds the open field. 2nd touchdown reception on the season for Vale. And Vale now joining Williams and Barrett. Talked about the danger brought by Parker, Glumac, and Wilson, but the Energy now with a trio of playmakers on the outside themselves, as Vale has turned into a real weapon. With that, her 10th reception along with Williams and Barrett, of course. And so the teams begin to mirror each other. First touch for Parker, looking for the edge. Out past the 45, we'll head out of bounds just short of midfield at the 49. That's going to be good enough to move the chains. See the speed of Parker, eventually Ibarra forcing her out of bounds, but not before she gets out to the 49. 8 yards and a first down. And the War certainly battled last week against that Wildcat offense, ultimately limiting them to 24 points, but did have some difficulty trying to slow down Sam Gordon, who leads the WFA in rushing yards as Gordon. And that big offensive line for the Wildcats did start to wear down the War. Gordon finishing with 170 yards on the ground. Catch for Wilson into War territory, a gain of about 4. It'll come down to the spot. Quickly met by Savan Tomacek. A little help from Megan Vale. They spotted at the 48, so that's a pickup of 3. Bring up a 2nd and 7. Well, in the last 2 matchups between these two teams that both went to the War, it was something of a struggle in the passing game for the Energy. Shy of 100 yards passing in each of the 2 wins for the War. It'll be interesting to see if Jacobs presents more of a challenge. Certainly, statistically, she has so far. That pass incomplete. And now a 3rd and 7 from the War 48. But will that change the dynamic for the Energy, who certainly had to rely on the running game to a large degree in recent matchups with the War? Now a timeout down on the field. We'll step aside with the Energy facing a 3rd and 7. .25 remaining in the opening quarter. With the War on top 7-0, it's a 3rd and 7 for the Energy. They'll come out with receivers left and right. Jake is in the shotgun. They'll rush 4 with time. Out in the flat and off the hands of Parker. incompletion leaves a 4th and 7 and a decision for Brian Wiggins. I saw the War take advantage of a short field on the opening possession. And does Brian Wiggins want to roll the dice here from near midfield? And it appears as though they are going to line up to do that. Jacobs with Williams, I should say with Wilson, excuse me, and Parker. And now Glumac all to the far side. Blitz coming. Jacobs on the keeper. Finds some running room. Has the first down. Still on her feet at the 35. And heads out of bounds at the 31-yard line. 17 yards on a 4th and 7 as Jacobs flashes the quick feet. Does have 163 yards rushing on the season. A little over 7 yards per carry. So she has been a weapon with her feet. 18 yards on that run. But of even more importance is the 4th down conversion as Jacobs finding the smallest of holes but managed to slip through and into the War secondary. 18 yards and a first down. The Energy with a fresh set of downs from the War 30, throwing on the run and completing, finding Glumac down to the 10-yard line. They'll spot it at the 12 on the first reception for Carmel Glumac. Glumac came in tied with Parker, leading the Energy with 17 receptions. So that the 18th, and Glumac has been a favorite target in this part of the field, certainly 4 touchdown receptions on the season. The next highest total, still just 1. So let's see if Jacobs will look back to Glumac with the football now resting at the War 12-yard line, and a good response for the Houston Energy after that quick touchdown for the War. This drive started back at the Energy 26. They have it to the War 12 with a 1st and 10. 3 wide receivers. Quick throw and tipped and nearly intercepted. Boy, that ball thrown into a crowd. A dangerous throw from Jacobs. And Nori Washington had her hands on it. And the Energy dodge a bullet. This drive still alive on a ball that very easily could have been intercepted. Jacobs has thrown 5 interceptions in 4 games. So for the rookie Jacobs, perhaps still a tendency to take chances in the passing game. 2nd down and 10. Wilson sweeping to the right. Now cuts it back at the 5 and down to the 4. Jones with the tackle. Big collision between Wilson and Jai Whiting Davis. But a good job by Davis and Jones to ultimately come up with the stop. 8 yards for Wilson. We do have a War player down midway through the first quarter. And the War on top 7-0, but the Energy threatening. It's the Women's Football Alliance on Fan Club and Unbeaten. Big 3rd down, a 3rd and 2 for the Energy at the War 4-yard line. They'll come out in a bunch formation, overloading the left side. The give to Wilson, trying to cut it back, now reverses field. It's a foot race for Wilson to the 5, runs into Jones at the 4, short of the first down. Good pursuit by the War defense and a great view of Smitty Jones. And the speed for Jones to get back and get there to meet the fleet-footed Wilson, who just for a moment appeared as though she might be able to reverse field and find pay dirt. So for the second time on this opening drive for the Energy, they'll go for it on 4th down. Tara Moore in the backfield. They'll send Parker solo to the left. Jacobs on a designed roll, looking back, still scrambling. Now Jacobs still directing, throws back and finds Parker. Touchdown, Energy. And what poise from Jacobs. Able to make a move, buy herself some time, and here, where it might have been so easy to rush, make a quick decision, able to direct traffic, and Parker finds an open spot. 4-yard touchdown pass. 8th touchdown pass on the season for Jacobs, the 2nd touchdown reception for Parker. And the Energy will look for the lead as they'll line up to go for the 2-point conversion. Again in the bunch formation. Jacobs on a designed roll. Pop flies, looking for the back of the end zone, but it's incomplete. It did end up in the hands of Parker, but beyond that end line, and the War will hold the lead 7-6 here in the opening quarter as the Energy pull a little closer. .541 remaining in the opening quarter, and the War on top 7-6 after the Energy goes 74 yards, converting 2 times on 4th down to keep the drive alive. Indeed, the last 4th down was the touchdown play. 4 yards, Jacobs to Parker. So teed up and ready to go. Jacobs goes to the squib. Picked up at the 17. Then Nachka Cloud able to take it out to the 33. And that's where the War will go to work. So they'll spot it at the 35. So give Claude a couple of more yards.
Yeah, maxed out.
War will come out. I formation backfield. Washington in the deep I. And Washington gets the call on the left side for a pickup of a couple. A big loss for the War on the offensive line with the injury to left tackle Brianna Irby. So they'll have to do some shuffling on that offensive line as Irby not available this week. They'll spot it at the 38 and a 2nd and 7. And they'll look at the War sideline. And looking on the field, keeping an eye out, Sean Caldwell on the carry, a pickup of 3. Leaves a 3rd down and 4. And after a relatively quiet week a week ago, in which Brianna Barrett had just 6 touches in the game, ultimately she did have a rushing touchdown, but Barrett held largely in check in that loss to Salt Lake City, and not seeing Brianna Barrett on the field so far tonight. And it was Barrett who went to town last year in the matchup between these two teams as she started a truly remarkable late season run that ultimately helped fuel an eventual MVP with 275 yards rushing in the win at Houston last week. So we'll keep an eye out for Barrett, but the War might be going to work here tonight without the services of Barrett, who has been obviously one of their premier weapons for the last few years. The pass incomplete, looking for Vale, and a late flag, and this is going to be a personal foul, roughing the passer on the Energy, as Monique Benitez, with a little follow-through on the rush. Well, here we'll see from behind the play. But that is a really tough call for the Energy, who were very close to having a real shot to get off the field, and instead of a 4th down for the War in their own territory, you mark off 15 yards. Now the ball at the Energy 43 and a fresh set of downs. So that is a costly penalty. Guzman in the flat looking for Davis. Nothing doing for Davis, a loss on the play. And there is a flag down. So we'll sort out the flag. The War looking for a little more help with a penalty flag on this play, as that was a loss of 6 yards on the result of the play all the way back. And the call, you can see from our referee, Apollo Martin, another flag, a personal foul against the Energy. So the big play on defense is largely erased, as they will mark off the penalty from the spot, and it will take it to the 34, where it'll be another 1st down for the Cali War. Three wide receivers to the right. Guzman out in the flat, incomplete, looking for Washington. So it leaves a 2nd down and 10. It's a tough break for the War on that play, as that ball was thrown high to Washington. But had she been able to come down with it, there was some room on that right side for Nori Washington. The incompletion leaves a 2nd and 10 from the 34. Winding down toward 3 minutes to go in this opening quarter. Guzman sets, has time, looking deep, and the pass incomplete, nearly intercepted by Rocket Parker, looking for Williams. And this pass from Guzman offline, maybe expecting Williams to break back toward the middle of the field. But it's the War who pick up another break on this drive, as Parker couldn't quite close the distance. And so the incompletion gives the War another chance on a 3rd and 10. 3:01 remaining in the first quarter. War on top 7-6. Washington remains in the backfield. They'll spread out with 4 wide receivers. In motion, and Guzman out in the flat. Will move to the outside, now down to the 25, cuts it back inside the 15, down to the 5, in for the touchdown. And we're checking it out. Believe that's Brianna Barrett. Brianna Barrett listed as number 16, but the one thing we can say for sure after a couple of weeks of coverage is Brianna Barrett not often wearing number 16. Last week it was number 2. And now it's 15, and so we do want to try and confirm. But either way, the result of the play is a 34-yard touchdown pass, the second for Guzman. And the lead now 13-6 as Jennifer Nunez will come on to attempt the extra point. Well, it's got to feel good for Tanya Guzman after she struggled last week as well. Guzman's kick too low, 13-6. Guzman just 7 of 20. But an entirely different story in this opening quarter so far tonight, where she has gotten good protection and made the most of it with a couple of touchdown passes. The War have to settle for a 7-point lead after the missed extra point. 2:47 remaining in the opening quarter. Cali on top 13-6. It's the Women's Football Alliance on Fan Club and the Unbeaten Network. So we have our confirmation in this week's episode of Where's Brianna. It's number 15 for Barrett, who takes that swing pass and goes 34 yards. We should have known just by the run that that was Brianna Barrett. That had Brianna Barrett written all over it. So the War lead is 7. And the squib kick comes to rest at the 28. Dotson able to slip one tackle, but not the second wave. It is Barrett getting down there quickly. Just a 2-yard return for Dotson, and now the energy will start from the 30. (13-6). 2:41 remaining in the first quarter. 3 drives and 3 touchdowns between the two teams so far. Of course, we'll have to go some to get a shootout like we saw last year with the Vixen. What was the final in that one? It was like a 60, 64, 61 maybe? Something like that as both teams. That was something, all right. We'll see if we can get up to those numbers here tonight. Jake is quick swing pass to Wilson. Slips out of one tackle. Wilson now with some room at the 35-40. Out to the 45 and forced out of bounds. Just shy of midfield. Gets away from Vale. And turns what would have been at best a modest gain into 18 yards and a first down. I'll tell you, quickly, you get a sense of how entertaining it is to watch Brooke Wilson. The shiftiness to get away, and it's Vale who eventually has to chase her down, but not before. The energy pick up an immediate first down. Jacobs, as the clock winds under 2 minutes. Here in the opening quarter, out in the flat, and that a dangerous pass, but now Parker with some running room. As Ibarra had a notion about going for an interception and what would have certainly been a pick six, but that's a good move from Parker to actually meet that football, come back to it a little bit, robs Ibarra of any time to get there and break that pass up, and Parker turns it into another first down to the War 41. And you see Parker heading back to the huddle, but somewhat gingerly. And of course, the Energy have already lost Suzette Garrett here in this one. But they're on the move again. And thus far, Jacobs in this opening quarter passing this test against this War defense that has been amongst the best in the Women's Football Alliance. Jacobs is once again coolly moving this Energy offense down the field. Whistles come in prior to the snap. And a timeout for the Energy. 1st and 10 from the 41 when we return. 49 seconds remaining in the opening quarter. And the War first down for the Energy at the War 41. They have moved it 29 yards in 2 plays. First, finding Wilson on the screen pass that Wilson turns into 18 yards, and then keeping it short once again, Parker coming back to the football and picking up another 11 yards and a first down. And the Energy now have it at the 41 of the War. Jacobs on a designed roll, in some trouble. She's going to be sacked. Back at the 47-yard line. And this play in trouble right from the start. Tamara Taylor eventually tracking down Jacobs for the sack. And the War have not only been good at pressuring the quarterback, but they've done so from a number of places, with Caldwell and Doucette with sacks on the season, along with Layla Rivers and Antoinette Frazier. Now Taylor getting into the action. So they can bring the pressure from a lot of different places. End of the first quarter. Cali on top 13-6. You are watching the Women's Football Alliance on Fan Club and the Unbeaten Network. Highlights from an entertaining first quarter, and the War leading at 13-6. The Energy have it at the Cali 47, facing a 2nd and 16. Bring you back live for the start of the 2nd quarter. Well, the big play by Tamara Taylor. And an opportunity for the War defense to get off the field. Jake is back on. They'll overload the right side for this 2nd and 16 play. Snap to Jacobs. The give to Wilson, off tackle on the right side, trying to churn the legs, but can't get away from Taylor. That's a big play from Taylor, who maybe saves a good 10 yards or more if Wilson can get away. But instead of getting into that War secondary, Wilson brought down for a gain of just a yard, and now a 3rd and very long for the Energy. 3rd and 15 from the War 46. And let's see how Brian Wiggins wants to play it in what could be 4-down territory. Clock moving. Parker wide to the left. Snap to Jacobs and the give to Wilson. Sweeping to the left side. Wilson can't get the corner. Alyssa Roberson coming up quickly. And another sure tackle in the open field. Just a couple of yards for Wilson. And now a lengthy 4th down, a 4th and 13. And for the War, a chance to get this football back and perhaps extend on a 7-point lead. Clock moving early, 2nd quarter, 13:26 and counting. And Jake is going to stay on this Energy offense. Wilson, Glumac, and Parker all to the right side. Could be a free play. And now the whistles come in. And they're going to call this on the Energy. And 4th and 13 becomes 4th and 18. Looking like movement on that right side of that offensive line. See Monique Benitez pleading her case. 4th and 18. Tough assignment for the Energy. Snap to Jacobs. Looking to run, but hit behind the line and brought down all the way back at the Energy 44. And it looked like it was Taylor again getting into the backfield. So what a series for the War defense. A couple of sacks, stalls the drive. Let's watch one more time. And yeah, it's Taylor shedding the block along with Nunez. And no chance for Jacobs. They'll spot it at the 45. So rather than perhaps even gaining some yardage on a 4th and 18, the Energy go the other way. And the War get even better field position coming out of it. Couple of sacks, a little help from a penalty. And they'll take over with a very short field at the Energy 45 with a 1st and 10. Barrett in motion. Quick pitch behind Washington. This is a live football. The Energy getting there first. Now they'll battle for it, but it looks as though this is going to go to Houston. Rachel Addison was there, and Washington, I think, just losing focus on the play, thinking clearly that was a dead ball, but that ball clearly lateraled backwards to Washington, and Addison gets there quickly, taking full advantage. First turnover for either team here tonight. And the War lose a great opportunity and instead deliver a relatively short field to Houston. And for Norrie Washington, might have had a chance at that football, but that moment of hesitation gave Addison all the time she needed. Chance for the energy. Four-man rush. Jake is stepping up. It's picked off. And it's Norrie Washington. Well, how about that? If you're Norrie Washington, immediate redemption after the mental miscue. Watch Washington sitting back in coverage, and Jacobs just never sees her. Sure hands from Norrie Washington. Big interception, and Washington. That's the way to get yourself off the hook. The return out to the War 49. So the teams trade turnovers on back-to-back plays. And Cali has it back at their own 49, still leading 13-6 with 11:57 remaining in the first half. Well, you got to love to see that. For Norrie Washington, has to head off the field, no doubt. Having let an opportunity slip away for her team, but is able to immediately get the ball back. And the War taking over just about where they were moments ago. One more look. That's a great job from Washington, dropping back on the ball intended for Wilson. And for Jacobs, her 6th interception on the season, and just didn't pick up Washington dropping back into coverage. Timeout on the field. Cali leading at 13-6. It's the Women's Football Alliance on Fan Club and the Unbeaten Network. Should be pointed out that in addition to being on Fan Club and the Unbeaten Network, of course, you can follow the action as well on the WFA YouTube channel as well. So check it out on YouTube. Bunch formation on a 1st and 10. Snap to Guzman, again with time. Pop flies. Vale is there at the 20, at the 10. Touchdown, War. Back to Megan Vale. I'll tell you, if you're the War looking ahead, in addition to the weapons like Brianna Barrett, like Alyssa Williams on the outside, this rapidly developing synergy between Guzman and Megan Vale adds another layer to this War attack. Big first half for Megan Vale. Couple of touchdown receptions, and now very close to 100 yards receiving. And Vale going a long way toward doubling her yardage total here in the very early going. But it was a breakout performance last week with 90 yards, and now she's already eclipsed that number with a couple of catches here in the first half. Nunez with the extra point, no good, wide right. So again, the War trying to weave in the kicking game, but Nunez just 1 out of 3. And the lead is 19-6 for the Cali War. Let's have one more look. Well, this is going back to the interception by Washington. And that sets up this pass from Guzman, who again gets good protection up front. And Vale getting behind Dotson, couple of steps. And Vale having a big first half and having some fun out there. Why not? Couple of touchdown receptions. And the War back firing on all cylinders offensively here this week against Houston. 4 drives here in the first half so far, 3 touchdowns, and the one drive that ended very quickly with the turnover. But outside of that one play, this War offense has been tremendous. And the lead now 13. 11:47 still remaining in the first half. High end over end kick taken at the 28. Out to the 38-yard line. Good field position for the Energy. On another big hit, Parker on the return. Met with extreme prejudice by Kiara Allen. We'll see where they spot it. One more time as Allen shedding the block. And with forward progress, they'll spot it at the 40. 12-yard return. And for the Energy, pressure amps up ever so slightly. Appeared to have a real opportunity to get all the way back into this one off the turnover. But the interception for the War and the quick strike to Vale. And the War enjoy their largest lead at 13, 19-6. Jacobs with Tara Moore in the backfield. Quick throw incomplete, looking for Glumac. Looked like Doucette bringing some pressure off that left side. Second down and 10. Well, initially, the Energy did have some success running the football with Wilson and Parker. Starting to go away from that on the last couple of drives. Second down and 10. Ashley Crawford split out to the left. Snap to Jacobs. Flushed from the pocket once again. Throwing back across her body and incomplete. Appeared to have Glumac momentarily, but the pass falls incomplete. Leaves a third down and 10. Let's watch one more time. As again, the War able to bring some pressure, and yeah, that ball just a little offline. Jacobs trying to make that throw on the move. Well, the War defense settling in, it would seem, after the Energy moved the ball on the first couple of drives. But now very quickly, a 3rd and 10. And again, going into last week, the War, the 2nd-ranked defense in the WFA, and it's not as though last week did a lot to hurt that standing. Again, the Salt Lake City Wildcats won it just 24-12. Jacobs heaving deep in the pass, complete to Wilson, to the War 33. Well, Jacobs flashes the arm. 27 yards on the completion. And no doubt about the arm strength of Christina Jacobs. As Wilson, with the big reception, not only picks up the first down, not only moves the ball into War territory, but certainly steals back a measure of momentum in this one as well. As the War were starting to dominate the proceedings on both sides of the ball. First and 10 from the Cali 33. Glumac in motion. Back to Wilson, running left. Lowers the shoulder, but runs into a wall. Second down and 10. No gain on the play. Tamara Taylor, who has had a big first half. From her defensive line spot. There for the stop. Nothing doing for Wilson, and a second and 10 coming up. 8:44 and counting remaining in the first half. Moore in the backfield. Snap to Jacobs. Doucette on the blitz. Had Jacobs momentarily. Jacobs still on her feet, lost the ball, now picked it up. Just trying to get what she can, but she's hit behind the line. That play blown up by Doucette initially and leads to a loss on the play, but the effort from Jacobs able to get away a couple of times before she is eventually brought down by Emma Perez. Well, not often do you see a play where the offense, and particularly an offensive player, did a good job to only lose 5 yards, but I think Jacobs, just to keep that play alive and give the energy a chance, ultimately couldn't get away from Emma Perez. Leaves a 3rd and 15 from the Cali 38. Four-man rush, Jacobs with time, fires on the far side, incomplete. Brings up a 4th and long. And not a whole lot of reason to think that we're not going to see the energy elect to go for it from the Cali 38. Last pass intended for Ashley Crawford. Well, if you're looking for good news, if you're an Energy fan, certainly with the likes of Parker, Glumac, and Wilson, 4th and 13 is still manageable. And indeed, they'll send all 3 to the right side. Pop fly on the far side, incomplete. Nearly got through and into the hands of Wilson, who couldn't corral it. Initially, this looked like a ball that might be intercepted by Vale. And Wilson can't come up with the circus catch. The incompletion will give it back to the War at their own 38. So the Energy threatened on the big pass to Wilson, but the drive stalls. And we'll see the War on offense. And with 6:27 remaining in the second quarter, there's a chance here for the War to really take control in this one. They're up 13. But a chance to extend on the lead. And the way they've been able to strike quickly, specifically Guzman to Vale, they'll work with what can be considered still a relatively short field. Good field position starting from their own 38. Guzman from under center. Washington bouncing it to the left. Tries to stiff arm, but brought down. Maybe a loss on the play. It's a good job by Parker, who leads this secondary, in addition to being one of the leading receivers, warding off the stiff arm of Washington. No gain on the play, and a 2nd and 10 coming up. Well, both teams have been reliant almost solely on the passing game so far here tonight. They'll bunch 3 wide receivers on the right side for this 2nd and 10 play. Blitz coming. Guzman sheds 1 tackle. Can't get away from the 2nd. The ball was loose. Looks like the Energy have it. 2nd turnover in the 1st half on the War. And getting there first, Tatiana Sikahima. One of the rare times tonight that the Energy have been able to get pressure on Guzman. And Sikahima with the hit knocks the ball loose. And the Energy recover. And they'll take over at the 36. Well, just when the War looked like they might have a chance to take control in this one, here comes the Energy defense with a big play, forcing the turnover and a chance to get back into this one. Down 13, but they'll take over at the War 36. Four wide receivers with Wilson in the backfield. Quick pitch to Wilson. Hit in the backfield, brought down for a loss. Again, knifing through. And no chance for Wilson. Kiara Allen getting upfield in a hurry. The loss takes it all the way back to the 42, where it'll be a 2nd and 16. Well, both these defenses have become staunch against the run as this one has gone on, so perhaps not a surprise that both teams looking to put the ball in the air. They're trying to go to Wilson, but a big loss on the play. They'll empty the backfield now. Klumack will stay back there for the moment. Jacobs steps up, rainbows the far side, incomplete. Wilson broke inside, the ball went outside. So not on the same page, and a 3rd and 16 coming up for the Energy. Well, this is a very good stand so far for the War defense. Back on after the turnover, but looking for the quick 4 and out. We assume we'll see a 4th down attempt from the Energy. And after that success early on the first couple of drives, suddenly the Energy having all kinds of trouble getting much of anything going against this War defense that has settled down and settled in. And the Energy going to burn a timeout with a big 3rd and 16 coming up. You're watching the Women's Football Alliance, the War on top, 19-6. Third and 16, I'll take you back. Starting with the big play on defense for the Energy, forcing the fumble and getting the ball, but The War defense answering back the loss on the carry by Wilson. And after an incompletion, it's 3rd and 16 for the Energy from the War 42. Snap to Jacobs. Doucette on the blitz. Jacobs rolling left, nowhere to go. Now circles outside. Washington able to run her out of bounds, but Jacobs does pick up some positive yardage to the 37. Creates a more manageable 4th and 11. Good job in the secondary for the War, and nowhere for Jacobs to go with the ball. Down to 3:26 remaining in the first half. And this becomes a huge play for the Energy. 4th and 11 and down 13. You really need something here.
4th down.
They'll empty the backfield. Blitz coming for the War. Quick throw over the middle. Catch is made. Down to the 29, but short of the first down. Jacobs checks down to Ashley Crawford, but Crawford can't get to that first down marker. Jones with the tackle, getting the ball back for the War. Well, they dialed up the blitz to try and bring the pressure on Jacobs, who was able to get it out to Crawford, but good tackling in the open field from the veteran Smitty Jones. And the Energy are turned away. The War maintained the 19-6 lead, and now, once again, a chance for some more breathing room. And after a torrid start offensively, it's the War who've come up empty on a couple of drives here in this second quarter, but another chance to grab control of this one. They lead it by 13. They'll start out on the ground. Washington out to the 33 for 4 yards. A 2nd down and 6. Washington a little slow to get up, but now she's up. And there is a timeout down on the field with 2:41 remaining in the first half, and the War on top 19-6. Second down and 6. And shot of the Cali offensive line. You see that Layla Rivers has moved from the right tackle spot over to the left tackle spot with the absence of Brianna Irby. A little trouble on the exchange, and Caldwell brought down at the 35. A gain of perhaps a couple. Leaves a 3rd down, but the trouble on the exchange stalled that one, and Shannon Foreman flies over for the stop. Caldwell did well to pick up a couple of yards and leaves a 3rd and 4. With the injury to Irby, it's Vanessa Singletary seeing more action tonight at that right tackle spot. Whistles before the snap. Down to 2 minutes remaining in the first half. War on top 19-6. You're watching the Women's Football Alliance on Fan Club, the Unbeaten Network, and the WFA YouTube channel. Third and 4 for the War at the 2-minute timeout. They have it at their own 35. And the Energy looking to buy themselves one more chance here in this first half. Guzman with 3 touchdown passes already here tonight, taking her total up to 11 on the season. Barrett on the jet sweep, has the first down and more. Flags are down. Barrett finally forced out of bounds at the Energy 47, but let's see if some or all of this is coming back. It's a big call on a 3rd and 4, and this is where you might expect to see holding. Apollo Martin will have the call. And are they looking perhaps at Williams? Trying to seal off that edge for Barrett. And indeed, the call against Cali. Well, we saw a couple of penalties on an earlier drive go a long way toward springing the War for a touchdown. And those were certainly big calls, but this one, a big one against Cali. Instead of a first down, you take it all the way back to the 25. Now it's 3rd and not quite forever for the War. And the chance gets a little bigger for the Energy. Showing blitz, here they come. Guzman steps up, looking deep into triple coverage, and it's incomplete, nearly intercepted. Jacobs moving over from her safety spot. Has a beat on this one the whole way. And that's a ball where you're going to need Randy Moss, I think, to go up and get that one. And if I'm not mistaken, he's not available. Brings up a 4th down. And from this spot, not much of a decision for Miguel Renteria. And we'll see Nunez in the punting unit. .107, the clock is moving. Remaining in the first half, and the Energy not in a particular hurry to stop the clock. They are down to 1 timeout if memory serves. Low kick. This will take a good bounce for the War, but it's cut off by Parker at the 48. Parker to the right and into War territory, out of bounds, about the 45. Let's see where they ultimately spotted. At the War 43. All the way down to 43 seconds. So the War do a good job of taking a good amount of time off the clock. So short time to work with for the Houston Energy. And I don't, from the scoreboard, I don't think we have the timeouts available, but I believe the Energy have taken a couple. 1st and 10. Snap to Jacobs on the right side, incomplete. Glumax covered by Jones. Brings up a 2nd down and 10. Took just 3 seconds off the clock, so down to 40 seconds. Carmel Glumac with 17 receptions coming into the game tonight, up among the leaders in the WFA, but held without a catch. Oh no, she did have 1 catch on that opening drive, a big catch to help set up that energy touchdown, but War secondary against a very talented receiver corps thus far been up to the challenge. Doucette again bringing pressure. That one nearly intercepted. Looked like Megan Vale over on the far side. Thinking pick 6. Looking for Parker. After Doucette again gets into the backfield. And Jacobs on the scramble. Nearly coughed up what would have been a killer of an interception. So a break for the Energy, who still have the ball on the 3rd and 10 from the War 43. And Doucette, after a tough go last week, chasing down that Salt Lake City offense, has been a definite factor in this first half so far tonight. A couple of notable hurries on Jacobs. And another sack for the War defense, back to midfield, and another 4th and long. Borders Frazier getting into the backfield, but ultimately it was Allen who will finish it off for the sack. Down to 10 seconds, and there's not going to be a whole lot of reason for the Energy facing a 4th down and better than 15 yards. And indeed, they're not going to run another play. Instead, they'll let it run down to 0-0. We're at the half. Cali on top, 19-6 over the Houston Energy. It's the Women's Football Alliance.
And as we can see, the future of technology is with us. You might be thinking, Doc, this is truly amazing. And we got.
Hey, is the projector ready? Come on, time for a team meeting.
You know the moments, the feeling in your feet, the rhythm of ambition, that extra, that aha, that sight, that's something. The click, the shift, the boom, and you're there. The mess becomes a map, And you call it art, or science, or code, because now you know the way forward. For all the moments that drive you, there's edX. Fuel your ambition with thousands of job-relevant courses and programs at edX.org.
Welcome to the Road to Canton Halftime Show. I'm Brian Sweeney, the voice of the Women's Football Alliance Pro Division National Championship game. With me, as always, is Alex Wested. And last week was a busy weekend in the WFA with 6 games being played and all results helping to shape the playoff standings. In the Pro versus D3 game last weekend, the River City Grizzlies of Division III welcomed the Nevada Storm. The Grizzlies finished their first season in the WFA with a 38-0 loss at the hands of the Storm. The Storm will finish their 2026 season next weekend, June 13th, versus the 1-3 Mile High Blaze. When these two teams met in 2025, it was the Blaze finishing on top. Alex, Nevada is sitting right on that playoff bubble, and they needed the win last week and a win next week if they want to stay in that position.
Well, and they didn't get any help from other teams across the country, where now that playoff bubble is probably where they're going to conclude this 2026 season. Probably a win against Mile High in the final game of their regular season, but it's probably not enough to get them over the hump this year.
In the Pro versus D2 game last weekend, the Dallas Elite Mustangs traveled to play the Houston Energy. In a game that could have gone either way, it was the Energy getting the win by a final score of 34-30. Houston will finish the regular season on June 13th on the road when they play the 1-3 Austin Outlaws of Division II. When these teams met in 2025, Houston got the shutout win. Alex, Houston is finishing at 500 for the second straight season. What do they need to do to get to that next level of the tough American Conference Central region?
And that's the toughest part for them, is they have to get past the other teams in the Central between St. Louis and Minnesota both. I don't know that they have enough right now. They need a quarterback and they need receivers. And most importantly, they need time. They need time to develop those offensive, defensive line pieces that allow for an offense and a defense to flourish. They just don't have that right now.
In the only real blowout win last weekend, the DC Divas went into Cincinnati to play the Cougars. Things went right for DC right from the start as Kuchera Ching Johnson took the opening kickoff 85 yards for the touchdown. Cincinnati did what they could to claw back, including Janine Church's touchdown run where she literally stepped over the defensive line. In the end, the arm of Amanda Congialdi was again too much for the Divas' opponent, and DC came away with a 64-28 win. The Cougars will finish the regular season on June 13th with a rematch against the undefeated Pittsburgh Passion. In their earlier meeting, it was the Passion with the shutout win. For the Divas, they will finish the regular season hosting the 1-3 Tampa Bay Inferno. These teams met in Week 4, with DC coming away with a 6-point victory. After back-to-back 500 seasons, the Divas will go into the final week of 2026 with a winning record. And the Cougars, although they sit at 2-3, are showing that they can compete at football's highest level.
And they're showing that they can compete, but they're still showing that they have some things that they need to improve on. It's still a good season for Cincinnati, but there's still those weaknesses where they're not quite ready to truly be a title contender at the top level. Meanwhile, for the DC Divas, again, they continue to just run strong over teams. This is a tough playoff matchup for anybody. And I really like how DC has taken their championship game appearance from last season and really evolved into something even stronger here in 2026. Should be fun to watch them down the stretch.
In a rematch of an opening weekend loss, the St. Louis Slam traveled to Minnesota to play the Vixen. This game was a hard defensive battle for both teams, with the Vixens' only points coming on a 75-yard punt return by Britt Peterson. For St. Louis, it was a touchdown pass to Carrie McMahon that were the only offensive points of the game. This game would remain tied at 7, with both teams stalling out on each possession. Late in the third, it was a 36-yard field goal by Kaylee Nutzling that gave St. Louis the lead. And then at the end of regulation, as Minnesota went to tie the game, it was again Nutzling, this time with the block. Final score, St. Louis 10, Minnesota 7. Minnesota will get their second bye in the last week of the regular season as they await their playoff fate. St. Louis will finish on the road.
The Derby City Dynamite.
Alex, this game is what makes the pro level what it is. Two high-powered offensive teams had to rely on their defenses, and in the end, it was special teams that got the victory.
And it's tough to kind of summarize this game in 30 seconds, but it's a revenge game for St. Louis. You know, the question of would their offense get any better, we still see that struggle. Kerry McMahon returning into this lineup has been a massive help for them, that's for sure. But the defense really stepped up, and the defense has been a star of the show for St. Louis all season long. For Minnesota now, it's how do you deal with adversity? How do you handle with not scoring a touchdown against St. Louis, which you did to them back in week 1? And so going into Tampa, it's not an easy feat for them to do that, but there's going to be a lot of waiting going on before the postseason picture is fully decided.
In week 2, Pittsburgh went into Tampa and came away with a 42-point victory. Last weekend, these teams met in the Steel City for the rematch. Early in the first quarter, after the Passion had already found the end zone, it was Octavia Law's turn to keep the ball as the quarterback went 60 yards to tie the game. The first quarter would end with the Inferno on top, but at the half, the game was tied. In the third, it was the Passion's quarterback Chavez that gave Pittsburgh back the lead. After a missed extra point in the fourth, the Inferno would need to find the end zone again for a chance to win. They would do this and elected to go for the win instead of the tie late in the fourth quarter. The Passion held tough and stopped the 2-point attempt, sealing Pittsburgh's 27-26 victory. Tampa will finish the regular season at the 3-1 DC Divas, where in week 4 DC got the win. For Pittsburgh, it's a rematch of week 5 versus the 2-3 Cincinnati Cougars when the Passion were also victorious. Alex, this was another game that came all the way down to the wire and could have easily went the other way.
And it shows what a tough out the Tampa Bay Inferno are in a potential first-round matchup if they get there. Pittsburgh is a city that's passionate about its sports teams. That much is true. When I was in the Pittsburgh airport over last weekend, being able to see the Passion games on the TV is just a heartwarming experience because you see how much that fan base cares about this team. I love Tampa's decision to go for the win on the 2-point conversion. It's gutsy, it's exciting, and it's awesome. But Pittsburgh able to stand their ground is something that is also really cool about Pittsburgh. They're healthy, they're in a good spot, and it seems like this could be the Passion's year.
In the final game last weekend, the high-powered offense of the Salt Lake City Wildcats took their show on the road to battle the Cali War. Scoring an average of 60 points a game and only allowing 5, the Wildcats came into this game as a heavy favorite. Sam Gordon opened up the scoring for the Wildcats. Halfway into the second quarter, Brianna Spidey Barrett was able to intercept a Laura Gates pass. Gates had been perfect this season in the air, and at the half only led by a pair of scores. Early in the fourth, Cali would begin to make their moves as Megan Vale pulled in a huge reception that set the War up to get on the scoreboard. Late in the fourth, the War would score again as Williams would find the end zone, but there was not enough time left to continue the offensive comeback for Cali. The Wildcats would come away with a 24-12 win. These two teams will meet again next weekend in Salt Lake to close out the regular season. Alex, Cali might not have stopped the Wildcats, but they definitely showed the league that they can be slowed down.
Well, and that's the biggest thing, that they can be slowed down. They can be contained. And any team on a good day, now the top teams in the WFA have an idea of how do you beat the Salt Lake Wildcats. We talked about you beat them with tempo, you beat them with confusion. Cali has both of those things in their back pocket. And it's a chance for us to see how does Salt Lake respond, knowing their next game is against Cali just the same. And see how does that game, that time in their backyard, have the same or a different impact. Meanwhile, for Cali, it's looking like a playoff matchup on the road right now, but still a lot of time left to decide that for sure.
Alex, it's week 7 and we are all tied up on our picks with you getting the win last weekend. After 5 weeks, we are both sitting at 27-3. So let's jump right in to the week 7 picks. Minnesota at Tampa.
It's a tough matchup for Tampa, but a good way for Minnesota to bounce back. I take Minnesota, but it's a close game here, not as lopsided as one might think.
St. Louis at Derby City.
I think St. Louis is a good matchup for Derby City. Dynamite have proven well over the course of this season, but St. Louis finds a way to eke out a win.
Houston at Cali.
Give me Cali here. I think Houston just needs to keep pace and develop some more talent before they can keep up.
Mile High at Rocky Mountain.
Mile High, but it's a touchdown game.
Oregon at Nevada.
Nevada, they find a way to win.
And DC at Pittsburgh.
This is a close one we're probably seeing in the postseason again. Take Pittsburgh as the home team now, but just slightly, maybe by a point or two.
The regular season may be winding down, but the action on the field isn't. Enjoy the rest of tonight's game, and we'll see you next week on the road to Canton.
Yo, Jay, what you say?
Rocket. Well, my real name's Amira. My jersey number is 0. I play for Houston Energy and I'm wide receiver.
Did you choose 0?
Yes, I did actually.
Why 0?
I don't know, I just feel like it's a good number. Like, I don't know how to explain it. I don't know.
Okay, so Rocket, you played in high school prior to coming to WFA. Can you talk about that experience?
In my opinion, it was really fun. Like, playing with boys is really different, but it was really fun because I was better than most of the boys, so there was always competition, like, every day, so to me, it was just really fun.
All right, so now that you are with the Houston team, can you talk to me about what it feels like to be an icon to those young girls who want to play in high school? They're probably trying to play in high school or have that interest in playing the game.
It feels good. I had a lot of people come up to me, like when I was in high school, talking about they wanted to play. I told them go for it. It just feels really good to be an icon to younger kids.
What would be a message that you would give to the young girl who is in high school right now, and if she thinks that maybe she can play with the WFA, but she's not too sure? What's your message?
Go for it. I just showed them that I was better than most of the boys on the field. Proved myself, like, during practice, outside of practice. But basically, I just proved myself every day.
Is there a moment that you're playing on that field that like stands out to you like as a highlight? It maybe wasn't caught on camera, and it was a moment that you showed up and showed out. Can you walk me through a moment like that?
Yeah, it was actually during a game. Like, it was a play. It wasn't supposed to go to me, but they gave me the ball, and I took it back. It was like a 90-yard touchdown or something like that. But it's too quiet.
Talk to me about your experience with the WFA. How does it feel to be a professional athlete?
By virtue of having won the toss, the Energy will have it first to start the third quarter, trailing it 19-6. Tanya Guzman, 3 touchdown passes in the first half, 2 to Megan Vale and 1 to Brianna Barrett. The Energy with their lone touchdown on a touchdown pass from Jacobs to Parker from 4 yards out. Dotson again taking the opening kick and turned around shy of the 40. Might get the 40 on forward progress and narrowly avoiding a penalty. On the tackle, Allen coming in a little high, but no penalty forthcoming. And the Energy will start from the 40. Let's watch here one more time, and Allen, who's been everywhere on special teams, getting there quickly again. And much like last week, no shortage of physicality down on the field. So first drive of the second half for the Energy, who, after going 74 yards on that opening drive for the touchdown, have been unable to muster any more points. The rest of that first half against a War defense that is only getting more and more stingy as this one goes on. They'll crowd the line on 1st and 10. Here they come. Wilson on the carry. Weaving her way forward, falls forward to the 44, 4 yards for Wilson. Brings up a 2nd and 6. Looking to cut it back, but a good job getting into the hole. It was Ibarra who was able to slow up Wilson enough to hold her to 4 yards. It's a 2nd and 6. As the War sideline looking on. And no doubt pleased with the way this talented defense has bounced back after the loss a week ago. Giving Jacobs some trouble. Having intercepted her once, but also able to bring some pressure as well. Jacobs having to scramble more and more. The pitch to Parker in all kinds of trouble, brought down for a big loss back to the 37-yard line. A loss of 7 for Parker, who has averaged over 12 yards a carry on the season. Coming in 17 carries for 214 yards. So Rocket Parker has been a terror in the running game. But that time, the War defense with the speed, cornering Parker, no chance, and brought down all the way back at the 37. Early going 3rd quarter, 13-15 and counting. As we start the 3rd, it'll be interesting to see the War on offense if they can get off the field here. Lisa King down on the sideline telling us that the overall feeling was it was a sloppy first half for the War, despite the lead, but they also want to get the run game going here in this second half for this one, and no doubt moving forward, looking ahead to next week and possibly on to the playoffs, you've got to get that run game going. The War did struggle in the first half in addition to last week. They'll get the ball here after the carry gets it back to the 40, brings up a 4th and long. Not much doing for Jaquez on the carry. And it's a 4th and 10. And Jake is going to go back into punt formation. So still on the field, so the War have to certainly be aware that it's Jacobs who will have the ball. But they figure to get it back. And let's see if the War can indeed get something going in the running game. Interesting that, again, Washington has struggled on a couple of carries so far here tonight. But again, not much Brianna Barrett in the running game here tonight. Just 3 carries last week. And you go back to last year and this particular matchup, Barrett had 275 yards rushing in the game. And so far this season, Barrett continuing to excel in the run game with 10 carries for 125 yards, so 12.5 yards a carry. But the key number there, just into double digits in terms of carries on the season. So under a new coaching staff this season, clearly wanting to stay away from featuring Barrett in the running game. Williams will take the first snap in an empty backfield. And they fake, no, it is Barrett running left, around the corner, into the Energy secondary. Barrett still inbounds and finds another 10 yards all the way to the Energy 45. Well, if you want to get the run game going, one way certainly to do that is to put the ball in the hands of Brianna Barrett. History has shown that. And Barrett gets all the way to the 45. There is a flag down, so We will await the call, but some of this might be coming back. And now the word we're getting is the call is actually against the Energy, so tack on some more yardage. After the lengthy run from Barrett, and the news gets a little better for the War. It's going to be a face mask call, so tack on 15 more yards, and it takes it all the way to the Energy 30. Well, this is the package where the War often will feature Brianna Barrett in the running game with Williams at quarterback, and indeed here comes Barrett, but whistles on the snap. They'll blow the play dead. So this should go against the War. They'll back it up to the 35, where it'll be 1st and 15. Williams continues at the controls in an empty backfield. So far, now Barrett comes in motion. They'll fake to Barrett. Williams on the keeper. Dragging tacklers to the 32 for 3 yards. It was Carmel Glumac that initially had a shot, slowed up Williams, but Williams with second effort maybe churns out another yard. They'll spot it at the 32 where it'll be 2nd and 12. Talked at the very top about the playoff implications of this one, and it becomes a very important game for the War with about as hard an assignment as you can have looming ahead of them next week. The regular season finale is at Salt Lake City, and still looking for the first team in the Women's Football Alliance who can solve that puzzle for a Wildcat team that was undefeated en route to a championship last year and is once again undefeated this year so far. So with that in mind, this is a big game for the War. If they can win this one, they get to 4-1 on the season and likely should have the inside track to getting back to the playoffs. But if you stumble here all of a sudden with that tough assignment next week, maybe you talk about finishing 3-3, and then it's wide open. Suddenly a bunch of teams are in the conversation. So this is a big one for the War. Second down and 12 from the 32. And now it's Guzman in the pistol. Sets, hit as she throws. Shoestring catch made at the 24. Nina Cloud picking this one off the turf. Good hands from Cloud. Just 2 catches on the season coming in. But that a very sure-handed grab at the 24. A gain of 8 leaves a 3rd down, but a much more manageable 4 yards to go. And the War already not in a big hurry. They'll send receivers left and right from the pistol formation. Washington in the deep eye. On a 3rd down and 4, here comes Barrett in motion. And the screen out to Barrett. Barrett spins out of a tackle. She's inside the 15, down to the 13-yard line. Barrett once again so impressive. Yardage after contact. Watch her take the contact here, but spins through still on her feet. and all the way down to the 13. In addition to the speed and the elusiveness of Barrett, I think you always have to be impressed that it is almost never the first person who makes contact with her that is able to bring her down. Just a lot of toughness down on the field. And a first down. The War now into the red zone. Looking for some more breathing room. We'll go to a jumbo package with Caldwell at the fullback spot in front of Washington. And it's Washington straight ahead with some running room inside the 10, down to the 6, following their veteran leader on the offensive line, center Francine Loya, and that a very good push on the interior of that War offensive line. And some running room for Washington, and it's been a couple of weeks since Nori Washington saw some running room. That was no doubt a welcome sight as she gets downhill for a gain of 7. Brings up a second down and a long 2 from the Energy 6-yard line. They'll try Caldwell straight ahead. Brought down after a gain of a yard, maybe 2. It'll come down to the spot. Shimoni Williams, the defensive tackle, with the stop. A lengthy drive for the War. They place it at the 4. Well, they haven't changed the down marker yet. Let's see what they do. Now it's third down. So third down and a foot for the War from the 4-yard line of Houston. They'll send Caldwell out to the left side with Williams and Barrett. Snap to Guzman. Here comes the blitz. She has time. Fades looking for Barrett. Here are the flags. Out here one-on-one. Working against Parker in a matchup of two players who do so much of the same thing for their respective teams. Interesting to see Barrett battling Parker. And Parker gets the hands up. And Barrett never could quite bring it in. But you see the flags coming in from every angle. And this should give the War a first down. Clock stopped with 6:33 remaining in the third quarter, and this a drive of going on 7 minutes for the War.
First and goal, scorekeeper. Thank you, sir.
So they'll mark it off, take it down to the 2, where it'll be first and goal. And a timeout down on the field with the War on the doorstep. 19-6, they lead it. You're watching the Women's Football Alliance on Fan Club, the Unbeaten Network, and the WFA YouTube channel.
this time. Throws on the run to the end zone. It's caught for a touchdown. Pittsburgh TD.
The athletes, they're the backbone of this whole league, and they're just amazing people. They've got amazing stories.
Barrett in the pattern, they're looking for, able to bring that one in, Brianna Barrett.
First and goal for the War. Guzman from under center. Washington down to the goal line. Waiting on the signal. Looks like she's just short. Down inside the 1 where it'll be second and goal. The War looking to move quickly. Guzman wants everybody to the line. Again under center, Washington in the backfield. It's Washington following Antoinette Borders Frazier on that left side in for the touchdown. Well, this banged up War offensive line, so much so that Antoinette Borders Frazier moves from defensive stalwart in the middle onto that offensive line and gets the push on that left side that springs Washington for the touchdown. And the lead now 25-6 as the War cap off the lengthy drive on the 1-yard plunge by Nori Washington. And the way their defense has been playing, that figures to be a pretty comfortable margin. And for the first time in this one, they'll line up to go for 2 with Williams at the quarterback spot. Barrett around to the right side, slips one tackle, tries to spin out of another, but brought down shy of the goal line. Carmel Glumac, after Dotson does a good job of slowing Barrett up just enough. It's Glumac that holds her out. And the lead is 19-25-6 with 5:59 remaining in the third. $18 unanswered for the War. And they have taken control in this one. On top 25-6. Looking to wrap up another better than 500 season. And get ready to go on the road this upcoming week to Salt Lake City. Dotson out to the 33. And the energy back to work. And the War have adjusted against the speed on the outside after Wilson had some big plays early on. The War defense a lot of credit, especially getting to the outside against the speed on the edges. Really flashes how fast this War defense is, sideline to sideline. That Wilson's had a lot of trouble getting to the edge after those first few series. Jacobs will work from the shotgun with an empty backfield. Wilson in motion. They give it to Wilson on the jet sweep, but Williams with a terrific open field tackle, denying Wilson of some running room. Let's watch Williams here. Boy, that is textbook in the open field. Wrapping up Wilson for a gain of a yard. Well, Lisa King talked about the need to get the run game going, and I'm sure the thinking is very much the same over on the energy sideline for Brian Wiggins and his team. It's so tough to be one-dimensional and move the football. They'll bunch 3 wide receivers on a 2nd and 9. Quick pitch. Wilson with a blocker in front, trying to get the corner. Knocked out of bounds after a pickup of a couple. Good pursuit once again from the War defense. Not much doing for Wilson. That was a good job from Emma Perez, stringing that play out, and Wilson eventually just runs out of room. Gets to the 33, or it'll be 3rd down, and about 10 yards. And the War have shown a tendency so far tonight to be aggressive in these spots on 3rd and long, trying to get after Jacobs. Let's see if they do it again here. Haven't been afraid to dial up the blitz. Creeping in, here they come. Hand off to Wilson, runs into her own man in the backfield, and thrown for a loss. Ibarra will get the tackle, but this play blown up on the penetration of Kiara Allen, who gets into the backfield. And Wilson looking for the hole, none to be found. Slowed in the backfield before Ibarra comes racing in to bring her down for a 4-yard loss. It brings up a 4th down and 14. And Jacobs going to drop back in punt formation. Under 3 minutes to go in the 3rd, and another quick 3 and out for the War defense as they get off the field once again. Good snap to Jacobs. Low kick taken by Williams, who circles to the left at the 35, inside the 30 and out of bounds at the 28. So Williams alertly moves up to take that line drive kick out of the air rather than let it bounce, and creates a very short field for the War. There is a flag down. That's just a smart play from Alyssa Williams. Hard to say if that's a play that Alyssa Williams practiced with her primary practice partners, her 2 young sons. But either way, she was ready. And the penalty against the Energy will take it all the way into the red zone. And maybe the call right there, you can see down. Yep. That's it. Well away from the play. Looked like Alice Kane got a shot in, and that drew the flag immediately. That takes it all the way down to the 13-yard line. The reverse for Vale. Vale weaving her way through traffic is inside the 10 and down to the 8. So a little trickeration from the War as Barrett back to Vale for a gain of about 5. Winding down toward 2 minutes to go in the third. They'll spot it at the 9, where it will be 2nd down and 5. The War have it inside the 10, but they can pick up a first down without scoring a touchdown. They need the 4-yard line for a fresh set of downs. Washington in the pistol formation, or I should say now going to line up to the right of Guzman. Already with 1 touchdown here in the third quarter, and the War threatening again. It's Washington on the counter, picking her way forward, short of the marker, down to the 6, or to leave a 3rd down and 2. Nice job flying to the ball from that energy defense that has had their hands full. First to get there was Shimoni Williams from her defensive tackle spot. We are under a minute to go in the third with the clock moving. 3rd down and 2. They'll send Claude with Williams and Barrett to the right. Vale with a couple of touchdown receptions already, solo to the left. And looking in the direction of Vale, pressure comes. Guzman starting to run, looking for a block. But Dotson getting there quickly and will bring Guzman down for a loss on the play. Back to the 7, where it'll be 4th down. Well, for a moment, it looked as though Guzman might be able to find some running room, but give Dotson an awful lot of credit with Barrett out there, able to fight off the block of Brianna Barrett, stay on her feet, and then get to Guzman and wrap her up back at the 7-yard line as the third quarter will come to a close. When we come back, the War facing a 4th down deep in Houston territory. They're on top 25-6. It's the Women's Football Alliance, streaming on Fan Club, the Unbeaten Network, and on YouTube. Fourth down for the War, and they will line up to go for it on a 4th and 3 with Washington in the backfield. 3 wide receivers to the left. Snap to Guzman. Out to Barrett in the flat. Barrett running left and brought down at the 5 by Glumac. This will come down to the spot, but initially it looks like Barrett is a little short of the marker. Well, again, Glumac goes in very high. I don't know if that drew a flag, but this is all going to come down to, there is a flag down, but did Barrett have enough forward progress to get the first down? And then you see what the penalty is. I'm a little surprised that's not a penalty. Meanwhile, you do see Carmel Glumac down as well. And holding that lower leg. Let's step aside for an injury timeout. A lot to sort out on a big 4th down play with Cali on top, 25-6. All right, the War still have the ball, but they're placing it back at the 7-yard line and calling it 4th down. So this is effectively as though they're running the play again. This is where we were just a minute ago. So 4th and 3. I suppose it's possible it was offsetting penalties. In any event, 4th and 3 from the 7. As Carmel Glumac did get up, headed off the field on her own power. Always a good sign. Whistles on the snap. This is going to back the War up 5 yards. And does this change the equation at all for Miguel Renteria? Now becomes a 4th and 8 from the 12. So we are just into the 4th quarter. The Women's Football Alliance, the Cali War, leading at 25-6. Trying to bounce back after the loss a week ago at home to Salt Lake City. And on their way with a quarter to go. Guzman rainbows the far side, has a receiver, but Vale can't bring it in. And the War drive does stall in the red zone. Vale was in the clear, looking for her 3rd touchdown reception. She had achieved separation from Ashley Crawford, but the pass hanging in the air and Vale couldn't quite get there. And the Energy defense comes up with the stop. And so the lead remains 25-6 for the War. And the Energy will now go to work facing a long field. They'll start from their own 12-yard line. The War have done some kind of job as this one has gone on, bottling up Brooke Wilson, who had a big performance in the win against Dallas last week. A combined 196 yards rushing and receiving with 2 touchdowns in that 34-30 win that saw the Energy get back to 500 at 2-2 on the season. But it's been a different story here tonight for the most part against this War defense. Allen bringing the pressure on Jacobs. Jacobs all the way across, finds Wilson on one of the more dangerous throws that you'll ever see made, deep in your own territory. Watch the courage of Jacobs with a defender in her face, still willing to make that throw. Finds Wilson, who picks up about 4 yards. Leaves a 2nd and 6 from the 16. And Allen down. It looks like it's Allen. There's Layla Rivers heading off as well. Is that the word we're getting? That the nickname is Department of War?
Yeah, Layla Rivers, Department of War.
Well, in her second. Teammates speak very highly of her when we talked to Antoinette Borders-Frazier, talking about what an impact player she had been as a rookie. And we're seeing some versatility as well. She's been playing an awful lot on the offensive line, particularly with the injury to Brianna Irby, but a two-way player for this War team. And yeah, a pretty good nickname to go with it, which is part of the story. Listen, if you're going to be an impact player, you need the right nickname. You need a good nickname. And so Layla Rivers, the Department of War, 5 yards for Wilson, leaves a 2nd and a long 5 for the Energy. Opening minute, 4th quarter. And Allen is up as well and heading off gingerly. And we're seeing players, as we look from up here in the press box, clearly dealing with some cramping issues, some hydration. It is warm here in Duarte here today. And so for both sides, it's becoming something of an issue. And Allen, who's been very active all over the field, heads off as well. Jacobs throwing back across her body. It's incomplete, trying to thread it through to Glumac, who was back out after she headed off with what appeared to be a cramp on the previous series. And I like the Brett Favre mentality of Jacobs. Not afraid to make some throws. She's got a lot of faith in the arm strength, and with good reason, as we've seen a couple of good deep balls from Jacobs when she's taken some shots downfield. But again, that's a tight window. But she actually managed to get it in there and get it on the hands of Glumac, who couldn't secure it. And it brings up a 3rd and 5 from the 16. And deep in Energy territory, this is a chance for the War to once again get off the field quickly. Looking for a quick 3 and out. Keep an eye on Doucette at that left defensive end spot, starting on the 2 feet. Time for Jacobs, but the pass overthrown, looking for Crawford. And indeed, no sooner do I say that than they had 2 blockers on Doucette, well aware that she had been getting into the backfield. And it's the ability of that War front line to get pressure on Jacobs that has really changed the dynamic offensively again after the Energy moved the ball very well on their first couple of drives. But after that, the War defense able to step up the pressure, and it's had this Energy offense scrambling for much of this one after those first couple of drives. And indeed, they force the quick 3 and out. Jacobs now back in punt formation inside her own 10-yard line. Gonna keep it. Jacobs able to fake. Now finds some running room out past the 25. Enough for the first down. Brian Wiggins rolls the dice and puts the ball in the hands of his young quarterback on a 4th down inside their own 20-yard line. But no doubt the thinking on into the 4th quarter, down 19, the Energy are thinking about whatever way they can to get all the way back into this one. And so they roll the dice on a 4th down as they fake it, and Jacobs, who had a big scramble on a 4th down on the opening drive to continue that drive that ultimately led to a touchdown. So Jacobs doesn't often go to the run game, but when she does, over 7 yards a carry, she's been effective. And here again, able to pick up enough on a 4th and 5. Back to Wilson on the handoff. Wilson cuts it back, lowers the shoulder out past the 30 to the 31. And now, maybe a little bit of jawing away from the ball at the tail end of that play. And Kiara Allen, who's back on, getting into it looks like with LaJasia Dotson. And they'll try to separate them. And the little grab on the face mask, and I think that's going to get the call on Allen. And that can't be what you want to see. Wait to see what the call is, but for the War, you're up 19 points, and defense is really controlling the action, but you just throw the Energy 15 yards, and now all of a sudden this drive that was facing a 4th down back inside their own 20-yard line, the Energy have it all the way out near midfield. Again, the War leading this one comfortably, though of course no need to remind anyone that still a long way to go and certainly anything can happen, but certainly the kind of mistakes that you cannot afford to make if you're the War looking ahead, not just to next week, but should they finish it off in the regular season, another trip back to the playoffs where they're going to play another very good team no matter who it is. That one overshoots Parker once again. And Jacobs now starting to get a little bit inaccurate with some of the throws. And again, she's been under pressure as this game has worn on. And the War have been effective bringing pressure. And for any quarterback, that'll sometimes create difficulty with timing on some throws, and seen Jacobs be offline on a couple of throws in the second half. 2nd and 10. Dual setbacks, 3 wide receivers. Jacobs flushed from the pocket by Rivers, but Williams moving up will get the sack back at the 38-yard line. Well, again, you see Borders Frazier up the middle initially, bringing some pressure. Rivers then gives chase, but it's Williams on the edge who comes up to get the sack, but it starts with some pressure again from that defensive line that gets Jacobs on the move all the way back to the 38, brings up a 3rd and 18, 10:04 and counting, remaining in the ball game. Well, after giving up the 1st down, committing the penalty, the War coming up with a good stand on this series of downs. They've forced a 3rd and very long. Back at the 38. 4-man rush. Deep drop for Jacobs over the middle. Parker with the grab in the middle. Barrett there quickly at the 45. That's well short of the first down, but it does create a much more manageable fourth down. They'll spot it at the 46, where it'll be 4th and 10, and now what might have been a question on a 4th and 18 or more is a no-doubter for Brian Wiggins and the Energy, who will certainly go for it on a 4th and 10. And again, almost every time here tonight on this 3rd and 4th and longs, we've seen the War elect to be aggressive and bring a blitz. Let's see if Washington, Allen, and others are coming on the blitz. See Washington starting to creep forward from that angle. Indeed, here they come. Jacobs hit as she throws, and that one nearly intercepted, but it won't matter. On a 4th down, the War do better to let that one fall incomplete. Williams again on the blitz in the face of Jacobs, and no chance. Nary a white jersey in the area. Only Barrett with a shot. Down to 8:32 remaining in the 4th quarter, in the War with another big stop on an evening where the defense has been the star. A touchdown on the opening drive, but from that point on, the War defense pitching a shutout. And I give that praise knowing that, well, how can you not possibly think of Tanya Guzman or Megan Vale on the offensive side? Guzman, 3 touchdown passes, Vale, a couple of touchdown receptions. So there have been stars on the offensive side as well, of course. But now let's see if the War can perhaps get something going in the running game, chew up a little clock, but it's Guzman who's going to throw. Looking deep, has a receiver, it's incomplete. Claude had got behind that Energy defense. Jacobs trying to retreat back, but if Guzman gets a little more air on this football, likely looking at touchdown number 4. Instead, it's incomplete. And a 2nd down and 10. Pistol formation on a 2nd and 10. Guzman under pressure, circles away, the pass incomplete, tight window with Crawford having excellent coverage on Vale. Leaves a 3rd down. Just for a moment, Vale appeared to be clear, but Crawford right there. So a couple of incompletions. The War not doing much to chew up the clock. At the Energy 46. Four-man rush out in the flat to Washington. Washington to the 40. Picks up a block down to the 35. Boy, Barrett with the near pancake on Jacobs. Watch Barrett come flying in here. Might have got away with a block in the back as Jacobs starting to just turn to try and force Washington out of bounds. No flags down. Instead, it goes to the 35, and on a 3rd and 10, it's an 11-yard completion to Norrie Washington. So the War do move the chains. A 1st down and a chance to now perhaps take a little more time off the clock. Barrett on the sweep, slips out of one tackle. Down to the 35, a gain of perhaps a yard. a shot for Sikahima in the backfield, but as we talked about earlier, how often does the first player get the stop on Barrett? It's rare. Barrett smartly stays in bounds down to the 35, so the clock is moving. And a reminder, the War are in action next week. They're at Salt Lake City. It'll be interesting to see in that rematch. The War did finally get something going in the fourth quarter against the Wildcats, falling 24-12. Did they pick up some momentum? That's certainly something that we talked about in our coverage last week. And we'll see what happens when those two teams meet again. That happens next Saturday. Guzman looking deep for Williams, and the pass incomplete. For the Energy, 2 and 3 should this one hold. And they're back in action next week as well. The final week of the regular season. They are at Austin to take on the Outlaws. And again, check out the WFA website for updated schedules and for streaming coverage taking place on a couple of different streaming platforms. Talked about Fan Club, the Unbeaten Network, but the WFA YouTube channel as well. Another good resource. And check out live streams happening across the board here in the Women's Football Alliance. So we encourage you to join us next week for another full week of action. Guzman in trouble, sacked back at the 41. There is a flag down. And for the Energy, something to celebrate on the defensive side of the ball. Clock stopped with 3:02 remaining. And what's been a busy night for Apollo Martin and this officiating crew. Let's wait and see on the call right now, shaping up to be a 3rd and long. And the face mask call going to go against the War, but they'll decline that, take the play, and that will make it 4th and long. Mod for Coach Miguel Renteria. Might just elect to put the ball in the hands of Tanya Guzman, take one more shot. The War closing in on a situation where they pick up here, might be able to just close it out. So they'll take a shot on a 4th and 15. Snap to Guzman, looking left, throwing, and complete but short of the first down. Does pick up some yardage as they go back to Vale, and certainly with that catch over the middle, Vale over 100 yards receiving in the game, but about 5 yards short of the marker. The Energy will get it back at their own 30-yard line with 1:46 remaining in the ballgame. Shaping up to be an interesting race in terms of playoff picture. We'll know more about that over the next week or so, and with the certainly the results of the last week's games. We'll figure it in, but boy, Minnesota's been very, very good. And we talked certainly quite a bit about Salt Lake City, still figuring to be in that top spot, undefeated once again. But now the War are 4-1 and are back in the conversation. So it's a crowded field, and certainly still some placement questions to be answered over the next week or so. Jacobs on with the energy offense. One last chance. See if they can get something going. They'll keep it on the ground. Rare carry for Monique Benitez. Loses her helmet. Very early on, Suzette Garrett, starting fullback, lost for the game for the energy, and the running game really struggled from that point forward. Garrett, no doubt, a key cog in this energy offense, and for any of these teams, losing a player can make such a difference. It's a loose ball on the snap, and it looks like the War have got it. That ball never came out cleanly. It's Rivers who came away with the football. And indeed, yeah, it was a live football. There's no doubt about it. And so that will wrap it up as the War come away with the football, and they will simply elect to run out the clock with the issue certainly no longer in any doubt. And the War will come away with a 25-6 win. They bounce back after the loss a week ago, moved their record to 4-1 on the season, and they'll look ahead to another date with Salt Lake City next weekend in Utah for the energy. They fall to 2-3. They are back in action to wrap up their regular season next week at Austin, taking on the Outlaws. That will take care of our coverage. Thanks so much for joining us, everybody. Have a great night. So long.
This group right here, all around, is football. We're all football players. Y'all are football players, okay?
Down. Good. Contioli's going to go straight ahead. Got a receiver caught. Touchdown. They're back again. What a Houdini act. Zion, she breaks another tackle. They've got one for the
Jay, what you say?
And as we can see, the future of technology is with us. You might be thinking, Doc, this is truly amazing. And we got
Hey, is the projector ready? Come on, time for a team meeting.
You know the moments, the feeling in your feet, the rhythm of ambition, that extra, that aha, that sight.
That's something.
The click, the shift, the boom, and you're there. The mess becomes a map, and you call it art, or science, or code, because now you know the way forward. For all the moments that drive you, there's edX. Fuel your ambition with thousands of job-relevant courses and programs at edX.org.
Rolls to her left, has time, throws on the run to the end zone. It's caught for a touchdown. Pittsburgh TD.
The athletes, they're the backbone of this whole league, and they're just amazing people. They've got amazing stories.
Barrett in the pattern, they're looking for, able to bring that one in, Brianna Barrett. My goodness.
I never thought I'd be here. I feel like the best things in life are things that come to you unexpected. So it's been a great journey for me.
I know this is where I'm supposed to be.
Caught touchdown, Jada Meister.
Essentially is true of breaking barriers, right?
She could go all the way, and she does. Touchdown.
We're shattering the glass ceiling.
Great pass up in the air. Touchdown.
All of the women role models that we look up to are all women who did things that were not expected.
They realize they're pioneers. They realize that the trail that they leave is going to be a path that a young girl can follow.
It gives you hope. They believe in themselves, I believe in them, and Frank will believe in all of us, so it just goes with the territory.
One team.
That's the spot.
Hey, yo, a pizza for happy campers?